Good morning, friends. It's been a bit of a hectic week. I definitely want to get back to writing. Now with January, what I ended up kind of doing is kind of getting everything ready to have a good writing weekend, like having a tidy house, laundry done, groceries purchased, all the stuff that kind of allows space for me to just focus on writing. And, oh, hi. Hi. And that worked out really well. I got my writing goals done like halfway through January because I just really focused on them. So I'm gonna kind of try to do that again. I'm working on some laundry. I have a broccoli and cheese soup simmering on the stove. Got potatoes and onions, which I will add a bag of frozen broccoli, puree it all, shred some chicken in there, and add some cheddar cheese and a little Dijon, and that will be an easy, delicious, cold weather day meal. I've also got a super mega outline done. I did it on index cards for the sequel to The Broken Queen, which the current working title is The Shattered King. I'm gonna have to check and see if anybody else has used that, but for now we're going with The Shattered King. And I'm gonna do a whole video about this outlining process. That's one I'm working on at the moment. But for today, I thought I would bring you along on some decluttering of my bookshelves and some of what's in my closets and just kind of hang out. I'm making a cup of tea right now, so while I'm waiting for the hot water to heat up, I thought I would show you. Some of you like my thrift hauls. It's kind of funny to talk about decluttering and then be like, look at all the stuff I'm bringing into the house. But I always go thrifting with my mom on my birthday, and usually I buy a fair amount of stuff. This time I really was being super selective about it because I'm trying to get rid of stuff. We went to the Goodwill bins and the Goodwill store that's attached to the Goodwill bins, and then we went to a little smaller thrift store. Was that it? Anyway, we didn't go too hard. Part of it is because we were stuck forever at the restaurant. It was a terrible, terrible restaurant experience. All my restaurant experiences have been terrible lately. I'm really getting a sign from the universe that I need to just stop eating out, apparently. So at the Goodwill bins, I picked up this Ralph Lauren polo cotton sweater. I can't resist Ralph Lauren polo, vintage tag, probably like maybe 90s. At the bins, I was like $2, and I really liked this colorway, so it's gonna be a little oversized on me because it's a large, but that's cool. And let's see, what else did I get at the bins? I got this vintage tablecloth that somebody hand embroidered with these flowers all over it, and it's got some staining, but the reason I got it is because Dade has like mini painting days with his friends sometimes, where they'll do like model painting and miniature painting at the table, and they keep getting stuff on my table. So I've just been looking for a tablecloth I can throw down. So I don't mind that it has a few stains because it's gonna get more stains. I feel a little bad actually that this was made especially for you by Eva Bonert. She lovingly put all this work into it. I think I said embroidery, but this is actually like cross stitch. But anyway, at least it's getting another life, which being at the Goodwill bins, you know, it's like 2 seconds away from being doomed. And I have only one tablecloth, which is extremely cute. My only tablecloth, let me show you. It's like a 1950s or 60s tablecloth with strawberries on it, and it's in great condition. I got it at the local thrift for like $1, so I definitely don't want to get stains on this one. So yeah, we're trying to stay practical here. Then you always got to go over the book section of the bins, of course. I got this collection of photographs of people reading. I think it's from like the late 80s, early 90s. Sometimes I want to send my friends nice little notes, but I have like some cards, but they're all like Christmas or thank you or something specific. Sometimes I really needed some generic stuff to send, and I'm like, what better thing to send to my writer friends than postcards with people reading, because we all love that. Then I got this Elliot's Extraordinary Cookbook, which is by Christina Bjork and Lena Anderson. I don't know if I'm saying their names correct, but I used to love these books when I was a kid. I love the artwork in them. I read the Linnea and Monet's Garden and another one, like Linnea's Almanac, I think. I don't know if anybody else remembers these books, but I just find them super charming, and I'd never seen the cookbook before, so I probably won't hang on to this forever, but I did at least want to grab it and read through it and look at the pictures because it was at the Goodwill bin, so it was probably only like 75 cents. Then I saw this, the timeline book. It's just a blank timeline from 5000 BC to the present, and no one's written anything in it. So I thought this would be great for making like a paper copy of my world building timeline, because I love to have paper copies. I'm totally a paper copy girl, and like, this is perfect. That way I always have this paper reference I can keep around with me. So I just need to get organized with my timeline, and that way I can have that. Then at the Goodwill store, I got a little vintage Izod sweater vest. I love sweater vests because I have a lot of like button-up shirts that gap annoyingly here, and if you throw a sweater vest on them, you don't have to worry about whether they gap or not. And then I just had to pick up this 1970s polo shirt. I'm not really sure that it's my style, but I almost never see like casual shirts from the 70s at the thrift store anymore. Oh my gosh, it's all disheveled. And this is just so 70s, and like kind of 70s does 90s almost. It was just, I don't know. I don't know if I'll actually incorporate that in my wardrobe or not, but I wanted at least enough time to think about it that I had to buy it. So that is all that I bought for my birthday thrifting. I didn't get any like super bangers this year. If you like thrift hauls, there you go. Sounds like my tea kettle is more than ready, so let's make some tea and get to some decluttering. Okay, so here we have the first bookshelf. I've done a bookshelf tour of it before, but if you've been watching my channel, you will know that my relationship to stuff has been changing quickly and dramatically. However, I am 100% an analog girl, and I am not a minimalist, and I'm all about having physical media. But with that said, I have started to realize that the amount of books I have is an unsustainable amount, especially because what do I usually do? I go to the library and I check out a huge ass stack of books from the library, and then I read those books because they're due, and all the books sitting on my shelf, they don't get read because I'm too busy working on the time limit books from the library. Therefore, I want to pare this down. On the top here I have a stack of Enchanted Living magazines, and I definitely want to keep all the magazines because magazines are one of the hardest things to replace. So if you're ever thinking about paring down your collection, I have gotten rid of some of my fashion magazines, and I regret it. Don't get rid of magazines. Much easier to replace books, usually. But what I would like to do is at least get rid of enough books that I have room to move the Enchanted Living magazines down onto the shelf so they're easier to get to. I use them for like writing reference really frequently. If you've never seen Enchanted Living magazine, it's really beautiful, and if you're writing kind of like anything with like beautiful cottage, witchy, fairy tale, food enjoying vibes, there's always like a lot of really beautiful images. So sometimes when I'm stuck as to like how to make a scene pop, I'll just pull a random Enchanted Living magazine and use it for inspiration. So I want to move them down. And if you are a member of my Substack or Patreon, you'll also know that we have been talking about moving back to Maryland. Dade has been wanting to move back to Maryland for like a year now, and I was substantially more reluctant because of the bookstore. But the bookstore I'm hoping is still going to reopen, but so far the reopening of Marshall is taking much longer than anybody was hoping. Some of the businesses were hoping to reopen in like April, and now they're kind of like, none of us are going to be ready in April. And the bookstore has not even really been touched, which has just generally made me think about the sustainability of living here. And I also really miss my friends in the Northeast Corridor. So I've been more on board about moving back to Maryland myself, because I have to admit, the whole time, even as happy as I am here, Maryland still felt like home. Dade described it as like we were staying in it really nice Airbnb for years, but there was something in the back of his mind that kept thinking, when do we get to check out of this Airbnb and go back to Maryland? I kind of feel that way too. Part of me also keeps thinking that I'm going to return to Maryland at some point. So anyway, I don't want to carry all this stuff again. I moved it all from Maryland to North Carolina. I don't want to move it again, but I'm probably going to have to do it in stages. First, I'm going to pull off the junk. We might have to address some of this at some point. Like, do I need Lactaid that expired in 2018? Probably not. Remember Hedwig and the Angry Inch? I found that as a bookmark in one of my books. And it's probably been sitting there since the Hedwig movie came out. Okay, so cleared off the nonsense in the front here. Now I'm going to think about, what can I get rid of here? I think I can get rid of Vampire Loves. I did enjoy this book, but I'm probably not going to reread it. It's very French, and there's only so much of that French energy I can take, I guess. This was not, I didn't even mean to buy this. I ordered what I thought was a different Avatar graphic novel, and they sent me the wrong one, and then I emailed this bookstore and they never responded, and I did not have the energy to like battle them for it, so can definitely get rid of that. Nobody liked the M. Night Shyamalan Avatar. I can probably get rid of Shock and Awe. This book is very good if you like glam rock whatsoever. It was a really fun read, but I probably don't need to keep it. These are all ElfQuest comics, which I definitely want to do a huge ElfQuest reread at some point. So those I'm keeping forever. I don't think I need to keep Rise Up Singing because you can get the chords to songs online so easily, and like I haven't played my ukulele in a million years. I love this paperback Crush book. It's just like covers from the 80s and 90s. Is it something that I really need? Yeah, it is. The memoir of Trina Robbins, who passed away recently. If you want to read about what it was like to be a nerd girl in the 60s, this book was so fun. I highly recommend it. Trina was amazing. Her and Al Hoff are hanging out together because they're both on the thrift mailing list, which was a big part of my formative years, being on the thrift list, learning about thrifting. Do I need this book? Reinhardt wants to come in here. This is such a blast from the past, back when thrifting was like, you would actually find stuff that you never find anymore. Like mid-century kitsch was still fairly common. I don't think I want to get rid of that quite yet. And then I have all the thrift score zines as well as the anime zines. That was how me and Dade met, is because he was editing an anime zine and I submitted artwork to the zine and he was thinking like, she's pretty good. Who's this new girl? Roz Chast's Proof of Life on Earth. When I was like 8, I thought this was the funniest thing, which is what 8-year-old's favorite comedian is, Roz Chast. Now, the Steampunk User's Manual, I don't really need. I'm not really a steampunk girl, but I am in it. It is a nicely made book. Like, if you are into steampunk, it's very nicely illustrated. But yeah, here I am, and this was stressful because I felt like I had to get a steampunk headshot, and I couldn't afford a photographer. So I just tried to like get Dade to take a picture of me wearing like my aviation hat and a double-breasted jacket. And I really felt like a poser. The whole thing kind of just makes me cringe. I don't really want this anymore. Is that weird? Should I keep it? I don't know. I'm going to put it in like the get rid of pile for now, but I might pull it back out. This is a yearbook from 1904. I'm not getting rid of that because you definitely can't replace something like that. I also have a lot of these like books that you would fill out when you were a child about what you were into, and like those diaries that would ask you questions about yourself. So I can't get rid of those without at least like making a video about them, I would say. Maybe that's what I should do. I should make a video reading through them and then I can get rid of them. And I have some children's books that I've had forever since I was a kid. Miss Rumphius. This book is really pretty. So I don't know. And then I have Hilary Knight's Cinderella, which is very lovely illustrated. But then Song of the Seven Herbs, wow, this is such like your parents were hippies. Everybody had books like this if you were like a hippie kid. You had like those serendipity books, and then you had books with this kind of illustration of like herbs and Native Americans. I don't think I really need to keep that. This book was my great-grandmother liked old children's books too, like the illustrations and stuff. So this one was hers, and I do like this artwork. I don't know. I'm going to table this for now. Like, the library is definitely going to have a copy of Hungry Planet, I'm going to say. So, I love this book, but I don't think I need to lug it with me because I can always replace it if the library doesn't have it. But I'm almost positive the library will have it. That book screams library collection all over it. So this is a manuscript that my great-grandmother, speaking of my great-grandmother, that is my printout of her book. Let me just tidy up here. I think this is a dead light bulb. See, like, talk about hoarder tendencies. I have a busted light bulb on my shelf. Okay, the tea ought to be cool enough to drink. So let's have a little moment. That hits the spot. Well, I'm drinking my tea. Why don't you tell me how you're doing this week? Because pretty much everyone I know is very stressed out. So I actually started trying to write a Substack post about like how I'm going to try to stay centered and joyful and productive in 2025. But whenever I try to do a Substack post like that, it always ends up sounding so serious and bordering on self-important and like pretentious. At least that's how I feel. So I write a lot of Substack posts that I end up deleting because I'm just like, I don't know. It just sounds so serious. My entire friends group is pretty much currently divided between people who are decided to just ignore the news and just live their life and focus on art and community, and people who are breathlessly posting news articles like every couple of hours. So I'm definitely getting the news thanks to those friends. And I'm probably falling a little more into the make art and focus on community camp. But I am struggling a little bit, and I have been. Like, it's not just the current moment. It's kind of like been going on for real, almost sort of since social media kind of became like, and having like constant connection became a part of our lives. There has been a certain question of like, how much do you need to stay engaged? And I definitely care about humanity very, very deeply. And that can be very stressful. Even though I really sometimes hate people, I also really love people. I'm probably more interested in like sociology than any other subject because I'm very drawn to people and society and what everybody's thinking and why we do the things we do and how to resolve societal problems. So when all of society around me seems very stressed and strained, it's very easy for me to get overwhelmed and paralyzed. Like, I'm not sure how to best communicate and help people. But my gut has been telling me this year that like this channel and my little corner of the internet that I'm creating is more of a refuge than a place to dump your anxieties and your sometimes justified anger and fear. So I'm just going to trust my gut and mainly just focus on talking about the creative life and the simple life. Like, what brings me true joy? I am always trying to get to a place where the hours of my day are spent in things that bring me true joy and not just like a little rush of dopamine. I'm trying to get away from those addictions, and I've been doing a pretty good job of it overall compared to like 5 or 10 years ago when social media was sort of new and internet shopping, consumerism, and all of that felt kind of like peak overwhelm. I've been dialing that back a lot. and I've been feeling a lot more centered. So mainly I want to hang on to that feeling as much as humanly possible and share that good life with all of you. I do feel like there is definitely a place to get upset about things going on in the world. And not just changes in political regime, but also just wars and people being poor. All the things you can get upset about at any given time. But if you don't spend any time on what a better way would look like or what you want a better life to look like and how would you build that, then you're just caught in the despair with no way out. So I'm mainly thinking about what would an ideal society look like and how can I get the closest I possibly can to creating it in my own little tiny corner of the world. And it's always evolving, but that's kind of where I'm at. And part of that includes simplifying my life a little by decluttering while at the same time retaining some things that bring me joy. Okay, I did enjoy Bone. I recommend it, but I read it a while ago and I have not felt a burning desire to reread it. So I'm going to say it's a one-time read and I can let it go. I really like the art in this one. I love painted stuff. The story wasn't really what drew me in, but I still think I should read it once, or at least look over all the art in detail. Monstrous and Saga. I want to give those a try. I feel like Myth Adventures is kind of a real story for when you're like 12. I'm not sure that I need it anymore. I gotta ask Dade if he wants to keep these graphic novels though. So some of these might end up right back on the shelf again. I have a lot of photography books and I don't think this is like a must-have out of the collection, so I think I'm going to let this one go. And that quickly, I made room for Enchanted Living. I did good. That actually was easier than I thought it was going to be. That was my whole goal for the day, was making room for Enchanted Living. So I can't really get rid of many more books right now because I don't have space to like offload them yet. I've been moving things out of the house as quickly as possible, but usually the car is full of eBay packages, so I might stop at the thrift store and bring them like one box. That's all I had room for, so it's taking forever to get rid of things. But with that said, I did save a couple of big boxes to go through some like larger items that can go in a big box because they don't weigh as much as books. So I'm gonna go through, since I got this done, I'm gonna try to go through like games and puzzles and like some of the closet stuff. So let's work on that for a little bit. I own too many puzzles. I have a feeling they're not in the shot because it was really hard to get my head and all the piles in the same shot. But yeah, let's go through all of these. Some of them are very dusty. Okay, so we got Winston-Salem. I've never even been to Winston-Salem, so I don't think I need to keep a puzzle of it. I've got this Holidays one. This one was a lot of fun. Very nicely made puzzle, but I don't think I need to keep it. This one is boring. I don't think I need that. Ships Aglow. It's poster size too, so that's just kind of obnoxious. This is definitely like thrift store puzzle. It makes me feel like it's a little sea shanty though. Ships Aglow, ships aglow. This one we did, so I don't think we need to keep that. Say Anything. It's like party game. We haven't played this since we lived in Florida, so I don't think we need to keep that. If we end up making new friends that like party games, then that'll be one thing. This one, I can't tell if this would be fun or not, so I'd say that can go. This one was fun, but I don't think I need to keep it. This one is adorable, but I don't think I need to keep it. Like, you know, I can always buy more. I'm gonna see if my mom wants that one though. Oh, I guess I'll ask her if she wants any of these, but I got a lot of like planes, trains, and automobile related puzzles because I thought that Dade would be more likely to do them with me. And he did do the one trains one, but generally he's not. I haven't gotten him hooked on puzzles. I'm gonna keep it though because it looks fun. This Betty Crocker cookbooks puzzle was really fun. And I already did it, but I just love the design of it. I might keep that one for now. Songburst 70s and 80s edition, the lyric game. Oh man, I really wanted to play this with somebody, but I don't think I'm ever gonna meet anybody who wants to play. You're supposed to like read off a song lyric and then sing it out. Like you get points based on how quickly you recognize it. Let's pull one out and see how you do. Who can it be? Oh my god, this one's easy. I feel like I'd already have this one. Do you have it yet? Who can it be knocking at my door? Go away, don't come around here no more. That one's Men at Work. Okay, some of them are really hard though. I still think this would be a really fun game if I knew another person who was a big nerd about music from the 70s and 80s. Beer labels. This one looks fun because I like any of these puzzles that just have a bunch of like advertising labels or covers or anything like that, but I think I can let it go. Me and Sierra did this one recently and it was fun, but I don't think I need to keep it. Loaded Questions, another party game. I don't think I need to keep that. Cobblestone Way. I love these puzzles so much. Copyright 1989. And look at this scene. It's so cottagecore in that late 80s way. It's got like a kitty and garden and tea set. It's like, I have 2 of these Cobblestone Way puzzles. The other one's out of reach. And I just think that I have to keep this one because they don't make them like they used to. And similar, like, adorable vibes, but modern. My sister did this puzzle, so definitely have to keep that one. I haven't done this copy, but I have done the puzzle at my parents' house. Here's another train one I got, thinking Dade might do it with me. I'll keep it for now. I might do it with him. I might do it without him. But either way, I'm not getting rid of it yet. Okay, we got a lady with a unicorn and a dragon. And kind of looks like Ivory Tower vibes back here. I don't know if you can see that. I'll keep this one for now too. Let's see what else we got here. Oh gosh, there's spiders all over this one. Okay, this Muha puzzle was extremely fun. It had really nice pieces. I remember how fun it was to do. It's missing a couple, but frankly, I still think that someone could have fun with it because I did, but I don't think I need to keep it. Actually, this one with the flowers is that same brand. So maybe I should actually keep this one for now because I had so much fun with the Muha one. I remember it just being really good quality, so maybe I'll keep that one for now. Oh, what else do we got? Oh, oops, there's a couple here. Boggle. I love Boggle. Aw man, I just realized my copy of Big Boggle was at the bookstore, which means it's now washed away down the French Broad River. Mastermind. I don't think I need to keep Mastermind. You can always find another copy if somebody wants to do that game with me. Frankly, I can never find anybody to play games with me to begin with. Everybody has different taste in games. Dade wants to play like more of like a military miniatures kind of game. He likes miniatures. Then somebody else will want to play more of like a strategy game. I like games like Apples to Apples and Boggle and things like that. Anyway, you can never get people to agree on one game, so we never end up playing like anything. Let's see, this one was really fun. It's like one of those like hide and seek or like find the things in the picture, but I don't think that I have to do it again. Majestic Matterhorn. This one was also a fun one, but I don't need to keep it. Historic North Carolina. That one looks kind of fun, but I don't think I need to keep that one either. Baltimore. We did this one already, so I don't feel like I need to keep it. I also feel like it doesn't really capture Baltimore very well to me. I feel like it's a little It's a little corny for the kind of city that Baltimore is. More like unicorny, fairy, magical, but this puzzle honestly looks hard as hell, so I don't think I'm going to keep that. Okay, and then these are the ones my friend Krista sent me this one, and I'm waiting for my friend Sierra to come over because we did a puzzle competition and we won, and it was 500-piece puzzles. So this one's, I only have 2 500-piece puzzles because usually I like 1,000, but this is the one we won in the competition. And then Krista sent me this one. So I'm waiting for Sierra to come over, and then we're gonna do some timed puzzling. Got one of these Magic Puzzle Company ones. I haven't done this one yet. I think this is the only one I haven't done. I loved all of these, so definitely we'll do that one. Plus we kind of own it collectively as a family. We've been like swapping them around. This one's just like a cheesy old lady puzzle, so I can get rid of that one. And I think that's that. I got rid of all but these 2 piles. So I've got, let's see. Oh no, actually I got rid of most of these too. I have one big pile here. And everything else is going to get packed into big boxes and going away. I have to say it's feeling good to unload this much stuff. Lightening the load and really thinking about what I'm truly going to end up spending time on, because look at all these puzzles. How long would it take me to do all these? And there's always more puzzles out there. If I run out of puzzles based on this pile, then I just get the pleasure of going to the store and picking out one choice puzzle to be like my next puzzle. That's how I want to go going forward. I know this is not my standard video, but some of you said that you would enjoy decluttering videos, and I've been watching a ton of them. And one of the things that I've noticed when I'm watching decluttering videos is that every person who declutters their house, they always own way too many of like a million different things. And as they're decluttering, they're like, oh, don't worry, I'm not going to throw it away. I'm just going to take it to the thrift store so someone else can enjoy it. But if you watch like a dozen of these in a row and you start to realize if every person has bags upon bags and boxes upon boxes of things that they're just going to take to the thrift store, like imagine if we all decluttered all of that at once, the thrift stores would just be throwing it all away because it's too much. So this affirms the fact that A, I definitely want to try to stick to thrift stores when I'm buying stuff because there's already too much stuff in the world. And B, we all own too much stuff, so we can't really tell ourselves like, it's fine, it's just going to the thrift store, because if you own a bunch of stuff beyond what you need, then it's just sucking up resources and sitting on our shelves and is more things that we have to worry about if we move or if we're trying to clean. So when I think about decluttering now, I'm not thinking about getting rid of everything because there are a lot of things that I love that I'm definitely going to keep. I am not a fan of everything being digital, and I have almost no subscription services, so I do have a lot of physical media. But I am just thinking about what do I actually really use and trying to buy as much used as possible because there's already too much stuff in the world. That's one of the main things that I am focusing on as far as like how to be a good citizen, is just not buying extra stuff. Because even if it is used, if I'm going to buy it and not use it, but I'm just going to have it around, then you're denying somebody who maybe is going to use it, and then they have to go source another copy, and eventually somebody's going to have to buy a new one. And then there's resources being made to produce a new copy of the thing that is just sitting on my damn shelf. I kind of feel like this has to stop. And I can't control what everybody else is doing, but I can at least control what I am doing. So having done that, I'm going to check on my broccoli and cheese soup. Hi, baby. Finish up the lunch. While that is kind of finishing cooking, I'm going to do the Patreon video, and then I got some video editing to do. Then I'm going to work on the next week's video about editing The Shattered King. So keep an eye out for that one. If you're new to this channel, my name is Lydia Foxglove. I am a fantasy writer, And I usually talk about like writing and creative life stuff, but sometimes I also talk about more just like the simple life in general, because I think that simplifying your life and keeping your priorities focused on a frugal, joyful life has been a crucial component for me in maintaining my full-time creative lifestyle. So I don't think it's actually irrelevant. If you want more from me, I also have a Patreon, a Substack, and YouTube memberships enabled. They all get 2 extra bonus videos a month, and the Patreon and Substack $5 tier also gets you access to my Discord server. I would love to see you there if you want to support the channel, and if you'd like to read any of my books. There is a link in the description that also helps to support the channel. Thank you so much for being here. I hope this long rambling video made some good background for some of you while you're working on your own creative projects, because I get a lot of like people telling me that's what you have my videos on for. And I will see you next time. Bye. You gonna tell that stink bug how powerful you are?